Welcome, my name is John, and I'm just here to discuss movies on the YT. And if you'd like to join that discussion, go ahead and smash that subscribe button and hit that notification bell as well. And today I'm continuing my monster movie review series leading up to the release of Godzilla vs. Kong. And today we are talking about Kong Skull Island. So let's get started. So in Kong Skull Island, you have a couple scientists, a mercenary, a camera woman, and a group of military escort with them, fresh out of Vietnam, as they go to explore this newly discovered island. And they basically encounter monsters, to say the least. And so, getting into the action, this is by far the best thing about this movie. The action, the monster fights, it's all really well done. You can see everything happening, and even my favorite action scene is when they first enter the island and run into Kong, and you have the helicopters and everything. Just the way it's shot and how you get stuff from inside the helicopter and how that's executed. It's all very well done. This movie has some great monster action in it. So getting into the acting and the characters, on paper, this movie has a phenomenal cast with Samuel L. Jackson, Tom Hiddleston, Brie Larson, John C. Reilly, John Goodman, and a bunch of other characters to fill out the cast. But none of the performances, in my opinion, are really that great. They just kind of feel like they're there to cash a paycheck. But Samuel L. Jackson's still always fun to watch, and they do a decent, and I like what they do with his character from a writing standpoint. It's one of the more brighter aspects of the characters and writing. Now, my main issue within the character section here is the fact that there's one character that you have to get right in a Kong movie, and that is the character of Kong. And I don't think this movie gets him right. The reason Kong, the story of King Kong, lasts the test of time isn't simply because he's a giant ape. There's a bunch of other giant ape movies out there that try to rip off Kong, but none of them stand the test of time the same way Kong does. And the reason Kong has stood the test of time is because of the heart within his movies. The heart that Kong has. It's so, that's what propels the character above just simply being a giant monster ape. And in this movie, they do try a couple things. They have an exposition backstory. Then they kind of try something with Brie Larson's character, but there's zero development there. And so all of it just kind of falls flat. And this movie just, in my opinion, doesn't really get the character of Kong all that well. It doesn't do a good job with him. So now getting into the visuals, I think the special effects and visual effects are really good. But in terms of cinematography, they kind of try a couple different things. They try to make comparisons to Vietnam and stuff in terms of cinematography and Vietnam War movies. And it all just kind of falls flat for me simply because it's extremely on the nose and in your face references or something. When they do that, while that doesn't necessarily bug me, in the way they do it in this movie, it distracts me, especially with how much they kind of do it. Rather than just subtly doing a Vietnam type of imagery, they put it in your face, which makes it a little distracting. And on top of that, there's some moments, particularly after that first instance with Kong, after Samuel L. Jackson's helicopter crashes. Plus a few other moments in there. They try to do almost Zack Snyder-esque moments or visual moments. So getting into the story and the writing, I think the overall story here is actually pretty good. They have some great ideas. I like somewhat of the writing of the Vietnam type of stuff they're doing with that. I just didn't like the way they executed it visually. But one thing I'm going to harp on here is this movie, to me, feels very tonally inconsistent. like I was saying with the visuals, there's some moments that feel very Zack Snyder, and there are moments that feel like they're going for a darker Zack Snyder-esque type of tone, and then it'll jump to like a John C. Reilly acting like he's in a Guardians of the Galaxy or Thor Ragnarok movie. So it doesn't know basically whether it wants to be a dark DC movie or an MCU movie, and I don't know if it's trying to combine the two. I don't know if it just didn't realize the tonal inconsistencies. I don't know if it's just me that sees that. But it's something that really distracts me from this movie. And then lastly, the sound. I do think the sound here is pretty good. The sound editing, especially in like action sequences, it's all done fairly well. And then the soundtrack is pretty good. The score, I mean, it's pretty generic, but it still gets the job done. It makes you feel what you're kind of supposed to feel in a sense. So overall, I think I sound more negative on the movie than my rating will make it seem. But that's kind of because this movie, I think, has quite a bit of issues. But I think for a movie like this, there are only two things that you have to get right. The first thing is you have to have awesome monster action. And this movie delivers that. It delivers it phenomenally. And the second thing you have to get right is the character of Kong. And it doesn't really do that, in my opinion. But I do think there are things it tries to do that can be interesting. But since it did do one of the two things it's supposed to do extremely well, and the other one did have some good ideas there, I still think this movie deserves at least a barely positive score. So I still would give this movie a positive score. And so therefore, I'm going to give Kong Skull Island a 3. Thanks for watching this video. If you have seen Kong Skull Island, go ahead and share your thoughts in the comments section down below. And if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed my review, go ahead and smash that thumbs up icon, smash that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell as well to stay up to date on my monster movie review series. And I'm also doing a Zack Snyder review series. And so stay tuned, and I will return next time when I see you again.